The life story of Vladimir Zelenskyy. Who is Vladimir Zelenskyy? A comedian turned president. A man who went from making people laugh to leading a country in war. If someone had told him years ago that he would one day be the face of Ukraine's resistance against Russia, even he probably wouldn't have believed it. But history has a way of surprising us. And Zelenskyy's journey from an entertainer to the leader of a nation fighting for its survival is one of the most incredible stories of our time. Zelenskyy was born on January 25, 1978, in Kryvyi Rih, a city in southeastern Ukraine. His parents were engineers, and like most kids, he followed the usual path: school, university, career ambitions. He even studied law at Kyiv National Economic University. But here's the thing, he never really wanted to be a lawyer. His true passion was always comedy. As a kid, he had a knack for making people laugh. And instead of taking the legal route, he jumped into entertainment, joining a comedy group called Vardal 95. They weren't just funny, they were smart, using satire to poke fun at politicians and everyday struggles. His quick wit and charisma made him a star, not just in Ukraine, but across Russian-speaking countries. What started as a side passion quickly turned into a full-blown career. Zelenskyy was already a well-known comedian, but in 2015, he took on a role that would change his life forever. He starred in a TV show called Servant of the People, where he played a history teacher who accidentally becomes Ukraine's president after a viral video of him ranting about corruption spreads across the internet. It was fiction, but it felt real. Ukraine had been dealing with political corruption for years. People were frustrated, and here was this TV character, an honest, everyday guy, taking on the system. The show wasn't just entertainment. It was a reflection of what many Ukrainians wished their real leaders could be. And then something crazy happened. By 2018, Ukraine was at a breaking point. Corruption, economic struggles, and an ongoing conflict in the East had left people desperate for change. That's when Zelenskyy did the unthinkable. He announced he was running for president. No political experience, no traditional campaign, just a promise to fight corruption, give power back to the people, and bring real change to Ukraine. His campaign was unconventional. He didn't rely on big speeches or party politics. He used social media, video messages, and direct engagement with voters, just like in Servant of the People. His critics laughed him off as a joke, but the people saw something different. They saw an outsider, someone who wasn't part of the system, someone they could actually trust. And in 2019, in a landslide victory, Vladimir Zelenskyy, once a comedian playing a president, became Ukraine's real president. At first, his presidency was focused on the issues he campaigned on: corruption, economic reform, and finding a peaceful solution to the conflict in eastern Ukraine. But things were far from easy. politics was a different world from comedy. And then, in 2022, everything changed. On February 24th, Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Within hours, bombs were dropping on cities. Tanks were rolling in, and Kyiv was under threat. Zelenskyy was given a choice: flee to safety or stay and fight. Many leaders in his position would have left, but he didn't. When the U.S. offered to evacuate him, his response became legendary. "I need ammunition, not a ride." That was the moment the world saw who Zelenskyy really was, not just a president, but As war engulfed Ukraine, Zelenskyy became the face of the resistance. He didn't hide in a bunker. He walked through the streets of Kyiv, stood with his soldiers, and spoke directly to the world. Through video messages, speeches to world leaders, and social media, he rallied support for Ukraine. His words moved people. He convinced nations to send weapons, aid, and support. He didn't just fight on the battlefield, he fought in the court of global opinion. And people listened. Ukraine, a country many thought would fall within days, stood strong. And a big part of that was because of Zelenskyy's leadership. Zelenskyy's journey is still unfolding. The war continues, and the future of Ukraine remains uncertain. But one thing is clear: he has changed history. From a comedian making jokes about politicians to a wartime president standing against one of the world's most powerful militaries, his story is one of resilience, courage, and the power of unexpected leadership. And as the world watches, his story continues to be written.